Alright guys, so this is the flame wall, firewall, sorry. Firewall and Meteor build. Alright, so this is how you make this build. So we'll start with the skill tree. Well, first off, you basically want to go with the firewall build until you get this sacred unique helmet. So this is the new sacred unique helmet for this season, for season 3. It basically turns your meteor from costing mana to costing charges. So it costs mana originally, but as soon as you get this sacred unique helmet, meteor now has 2 charges. The second charge cooldown, instead of mana cost, drops 3 additional meteors, and the meteor's enchantment effect and enhanced meteor drop 1 additional meteor. So that is pretty key to using meteor. I would not use meteor at all unless you have this sacred unique helmet. Before that, I would just use the firewall, and you could add in the Hydra if you like. So basically, just put 2 points in here because you have to. Up here, when you start off the build and you're playing with firewall, you probably want to go with the fireball and just get it to the greater fireball, just so that you could put it on your enchantment over here. Fireball gives you a good enchantment for the beginning of the game. When you kill an enemy, they explode in a fireball for 50% of its damage. That's really good for the beginning of the game, and then it starts to fall off as the game goes on. But when you finally get to the firewall / meteor build, you want to just put a point here, get maximum mana, and then you get 9% extra damage when you cast above 50 mana, which is pretty easy once you get this build going. 1 point in flame shield, 1 point in teleport. You want to get you want to gain that 30% reduction when you get the teleport. You definitely want to get that. You want to get 3 points in glass cannon just to get the extra damage. Since there's very few things that increase damage, you definitely want to take advantage of that. You want 1 point in ice armor. If you can get it on, like, if you can get a amulet with defensive points, you can save the point. In these skills here, there's not really much of a reason unless you really feel like you need that 50% health. Like, this is not bad, but I usually just go with 1 point in it. That's all I really need. Same thing with ice armor. This could be helpful too to get that mana regeneration, but it's really not necessary. 1 point in frost nova. You basically just want to get it to here so you get that extra vulnerable. You come over here. You want to upgrade your lucky hit chance. Lucky hit chance is increased by 15%. That's going to be very nice, and that fits in the build as we'll get later into it. 1 point in align the elements. You can go higher in this if you like. Personally, I think that this is enough just to have the 1. You basically just want to get that 40%. How fast you get there isn't really the most important thing. 3 points in protection. Using a cooldown grants 30% of your maximum life as barrier for 3 seconds. This is crucial. This is awesome. You basically are constantly having a barrier because you are going to have 5 cooldowns on your bar. Right, so you're basically always having a barrier, so just having this is great. This, you want to get to 3 eventually. I need to get an amulet that gives me a point in each one of these so that I can save a point here and save a point here. I could actually even do that with ice armor right now if I wanted to. But basically, you save a point here, you save a point there when you finally get a point into your defensive amulet. And then I would put 2 more in here just to get that extra damage reduction every time you use 100 mana, because you're going to be using 100 mana quite often. So definitely think about upgrading this at some point. If you can't, if you basically, in my position, you put a point in ice armor, you put a point in flame shield, just put 1 in there just to get that 7% damage reduction. It's still going to be helpful. Okay, so firewall right here. You want to max this out. You want to get enhanced, and you certainly want to get the mage's firewall. Having them burn 3 seconds after leaving firewall is very nice. You gain 5% increased mana regeneration per active firewall. This is okay. I prefer this. I'd rather keep them burning. And then here's Meteor, right here. You want to max this out. If you can get extra points on your gear, go for it. The more points, the better, in my opinion, just to get better strikes. Enhanced Meteor, you need to get that. And then I personally go with the Wizard's Meteor. Each time a meteor impacts, it immobilizes an enemy. This is nice. 2 seconds isn't long, but it's long enough. And meteors fall 30% faster. I don't really see much of a point for this. I think they drop fast enough. Over here, Inner Flames, you want to max this out. This gives you more damage on your pyromancy skills while you're healthy. You should be healthy for most of the time that you play this, because you're constantly using barrier, so really this is just a nice 9% increase buff. Devouring Blaze, you want to max out. You deal 21% increased critical strike damage against burning enemies. Enemies are literally always going to be burning against you. If they're also immobilized, this bonus is increased to 30%, which you'll actually be getting a decent amount due to them being immobilized by your meteor. And also Crippling Flames, where your pyromancy skills will have up to a 50% chance to immobilize enemies for 2 seconds. This chance is doubled while you're healthy, so basically you get a 30% lucky hit chance to immobilize enemies while they're burning, and you're going to be burning them all the time with your firewall and with your meteor. It's pretty crazy. Enemies are always going to be burning, so you're going to be immobilizing, and you're going to be getting that 30% damage critical damage strike bonus, right? So these max it all out. Come down here. You know, a lot of people use this ultimate, the Inferno. This is actually nice. If you wanted to use this as your leveling up firewall, this is probably the best route that you can go when you're just doing the firewall build and you're not using Meteor yet. Inferno is nice. I mean, basically, while Inferno is active, your pyromancy skills cost no mana, so you could just spam Flame Wall. It's very fun. I personally use the Hydra just to get some of that single target damage, because when you're using the firewall, single target damage is pretty rough. Especially, like, you'll notice it if you're going against goblins or stuff like that. It's not the end of the world. It's not, you don't really need to use this, but it's a fun thing, especially when you get the 2 Hydras on your gear from the legendary aspect. This could be quite fun. So yeah, but anyways, with the Meteor build and the Firewall build, once you get the unique helmet, you want to level up Fiery Surge. Fiery Surge, I believe, works now. I'm seeing it pop up on the bar. I'm definitely getting mana regeneration. I don't know if it's 45%. I can't calculate that necessarily, but so far it seems like it's working. I definitely don't have mana issues, but killing a burning enemy increases your mana regeneration by 45% for 3 seconds. I would max that out if you can. Endless Pyre, you deal increased burning damage to enemies for each second they remain burning, up to 20% after 5 seconds. Definitely want to get that on, max that out. And then Warmth, you want to max this out. Every 1 second you heal for 0.9% of maximum health. Nearby burning enemies, healing increased 1.8% from bosses. This is a really good perk. This is pretty much a must on all fire builds. Pretty much any build that's going to do any type of fire damage at all, this is definitely a must. Then you're going to want to come down here. I personally use Iso's Furiosity. This is a really good key passive. Your fire critical strike damage is increased by 25% against enemies above 50%. Your fire critical strike chance is increased by 5% against enemies below 50% life. Critical strikes that kill enemies or hit a boss grant both bonuses against all enemies for 3 seconds. This procs pretty often. This is a really nice thing. Actually, this procs for pretty much, from what I believe, unless they patched it, which I don't think they have, this procs even if you don't do fire damage. So even when I was using Ball Lightning and stuff like that, this was still working. So I would definitely go in that direction. So that's basically your skills. for the Firewall and Meteor build. So we come out here, right? Sacred Unique Helmet. This is a must for the Meteor, like we said. I do not have like everything set up yet. I don't have many uniques yet, so this build is really not anything that crazy, but you'll see just how much damage we do as we'll just go into a dungeon in a minute here. But yeah, this build is pretty crazy. Frost Nova, you gain an additional charge. This is pretty nice. You deal 28% increased burning damage. I don't know if I'm going to keep this one on, but I got a really nice roll on it, and why not? Basically just destroys enemies who are effective with more damage over time than their total life, and they basically just like insta-die. It's okay. This is not really meta. This is Ice Armor makes you unstoppable. I just got that. I haven't had anything better. That doesn't really matter. This is like a must in the build. You deal increased damage while you have a barrier. You basically want to put this on your amulet eventually, in my opinion. That's what I usually do. You just get a nice increased damage buff basically the entire time because you're always going to have a barrier because you're always going to be using cooldowns. This is actually pretty nice since Meteor is actually a thing now. Meteorites fall around Meteor, dealing 21% of Meteor's damage on impact. Your Meteorites additionally burn enemies that hit for 907 damage over 6 seconds. This is actually pretty decent now. It basically allows you to have Meteors cause flame wall, possibly spawn flame walls, which is pretty nice. You know, this Prodigy's loop using a cooldown restores 15 mana. This is always really nice. Yeah, eventually you don't really have to use this, but it, you know, when you're in a pinch and you want to increase your mana, use your flame wall. This is a nice one. This is okay. You know, this will eventually change, but basically this is going to give you 24 increased damage eventually when it lands on the fire thing for 7 seconds. And then deal 42% damage to immobilized, stunned, or frozen enemies. This is a nice one too. I usually use this on a weapon. But yeah, like I said, this could definitely get better. There's definitely better aspects. I might do a video of the aspects that you want to do to really min-max this. But as of right now, this is what I have at level 62. I'm not really min-maxing. I'm trying to get into tier 4. And right now I just have sacred stuff, so I don't want to spend too much resources and stuff to really min-max all this yet, as I'm leveling pretty quickly. Just to go back to skills, basically this is your enchantments here. When I'm going with the Firewall, Meteor build, is you guessed it, you're gonna use the Firewall. Lucky hit, up to 25% chance when dealing burning damage to spawn 2 firewalls for 3 seconds. This happens a lot. This is really great. Constantly burning enemies, constantly creating more firewalls. This is as good as it gets. That's why you want to get your lucky hit chance up. This procs a lot. And then the lucky hit, up to 8% chance for a meteor to fall on enemies. This procs a decent amount. It's not lucky hit up to 8% chance is not that crazy, but with your own lucky hit increase bonus, this does happen a decent amount. It doesn't happen a crazy amount like you're going to be getting firewalls, but it happens enough that it's certainly still useful since your meteor is immobilized, plus you're using your own meteors. It's pretty fun. I would definitely recommend it. You could also go with the fireball one. This still works. I don't know how long it works for, but this you could still certainly continue to use. You don't have to use the meteor. If you like making the enemies explode and dealing fireball damage to more enemies, personally I don't really use this anymore because the meteors are just killing the enemies so quickly anyway, that really this is only useful when you're first starting out and you're just using Firewall. I just started into the Paragon board. I start out with Burning Instincts, personally, just to do more burning damage. This is pretty nice, but it's also a good board just in general. You get 10% damage reduction right here off the bat. You work your way up. You get 20% damage to burning enemies, plus 16% damage to elites, which is nice. And then, you know, you have this 5% reduction, 10% intelligence, 7.1% mastery skill damage, and then 20% damage and 7.1% mastery skill damage, which your Firewall and your Meteor are both mastery skills, so you're getting an increase in there. And then on my second board, I'm probably going to do Searing Heat, just to get the extra crit chance and more fire damage, which is awesome. Down here, you know, this is like gonna change and stuff, but basically I put Tactician down here, just to get some more bonuses on my nodes, and then here I put on the Adept, just to get more mastery skill damage and also to increase the area. So yeah, that's basically the Firewall Meteor build. It's really fun, pretty awesome. I'm going to show you just a little bit of exactly what we're talking about here. I'm just going to hop into this Nightmare Dungeon. I don't know what level this is going to be. It's probably going to be a low level, but you can see just how much damage it does and how well this scales. And just destroys mobs, and you could just move through them so quickly. Boulder's Cave, this is a good one. Look at that, I already procced Meteors.
I'm not ready yet.
Oh, did not mean to grab that. This conduit thing's pretty nice too.
I need time to...
Let me try to get rid of this. Alright, so here we go. So, freeze them, drop the Meteor, it's gone. Drop it. I mean, this absolutely melts. It looks cool. It's fun. Use your ice armor, create those barriers. Firewall.
I'm not ready yet.
Everything. So they're vulnerable. Drop that Meteor, and as you can see, it's there's the proc for the Meteor from your enchantment skills. Teleport. All stuff that you guys probably are ready to know. You want to use all those defensive skills. Absolutely destroying them. And you move fast in this build. Like I said, I'm not even min-maxing yet. Kind of just putting on whatever I get at this point. I can only imagine what this is going to be like as you min-max.
Ready yet.
Go. Burn them away.
I'm not ready yet.
They want you to kill all the enemies.
Ready.
but as you can see, you just burn everything in your path.
I'm not ready yet.
I mean, there's just meteors proccing just like crazy. I mean, I don't even have, I could just show you, I don't even, if I don't use my own flame wall, the meteor, it causes it to burn from the meteorites, and as you can see, some flames spawn. I mean, it's not necessarily, but you can see that you can still get that burning damage. You can basically just use meteor. You don't even have to really use your flame wall that much. But I mean, that's without even using the flame walls. Just using meteor, I mean, it just does a crazy amount of damage. We just got through this extremely quickly. But yeah. So, yep, that's a very fun build. Highly recommend it. Give it a try. And if this video helped you at all, please give me a like and subscribe to the channel. I would greatly appreciate it. And hopefully I'll have more builds and more Diablo gameplay. I also stream on Twitch at General Kill You.